Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Football channel. Today, a Stoke City review slash preview. I think pretty much now for most of the Stoke content, we're just doing the reviews and previews together for them. And before we carry on, I'm going to let Ethan go into exactly what we're going to be discussing in today's Stoke review slash preview.
Right, so in the Stoke review slash preview, we're going to be reviewing the Birmingham game, which we lost 2-0. Then the player ratings of that game. Then we're going to go on to the next game for Stoke, which is versus Preston. Then we're going to have the last four games for both sides. Then preferred lineups for Stoke against Preston. Then we've got a debate question. Who's the better manager in the FL? Well, best manager in the FL Championship?
Yeah, so should be a good one, but we'll get straight into it then. Starting off with something that I watched the whole 90 minutes of, and it was just agonising, it's just painful to watch, which is Stoke's trip to the St Andrews Stadium, Birmingham away, essentially, where we suffered a 2-0 defeat against the side that at times has looked relegation bound. They've been in the relegation zone at times. Recently, they've just been hovering above, but they are still in a relegation battle. And Stoke have gone there and suffered a 2-0 loss. What did you think of that, Ethan?
Well, the goals were that we conceded were just poor, especially the first one. First one, no one was marking the guy who was crossing the ball on the throw. Well, throwing takes. Well, I'll try put a like in the video. I'll put some footage of the goals or something, but it's just poor.
Yeah,
it is just generally poor. How on the throw-in, it looks like he's going for a long throw-in, but he goes short. I don't know why he goes short, because there's massive men in the box, but no, it's fair play to him. The guy who's taking the throw-in, and he can just whip a ball in. And Djukovic, whatever the striker's name is, I don't know how to pronounce it, is massive. He's a massive striker. He just heads it in to make it 1-0.
I've got an issue with that goal, though, because who's marking him? I can remember saying this to Twig when I was watching the game with him. I can remember saying, who's marking him? Because there's nobody on him. And I'm just thinking, right, a big striker like him, who's decent in the air. Where's Suter? Where is that sort of defender? It'll bat. One of them should be. I don't expect Chester in some ways, because that's not the right type of player for him to be marking due to his height. But Suter or Bat should be on him. The fact that they left him open, I think's ridiculous. And then, I mean, the second goal, it's poor from Davies, isn't it, really? Because he lets it slip back out of his hands. That from Davies, that second goal, right, it's a simple shot to keep in your hands. He spills it out, and they tap it in from there. And I'm really frustrated with Davies, because he did this against Millwall. There was so many times, we actually mentioned it, off set pieces and stuff. He kept letting the ball slip out. And well, luckily, he got, I know we still lost, but a goal didn't come directly from that, so he did still get away with it. And he got exposed for it this time. And I'm really frustrated with him for it, but I'll let you carry on if there's anything more you wanted to say before we go into player ratings.
I mean, there's nothing really else to say. There's just a poor performance from Stoke in general.
Yeah, I feel like, to be honest, in terms of performance, we do tend to go into it in more detail when we're doing the player ratings anyway, don't we, really? Because that's when you're analysing each individual. So the only final thing I'll say on that game is I'm really concerned, just in the sense that when we're losing 2-0, even with 20, 30 minutes to go, There was no urgency. There's no urgency.
Yeah.
Nobody, I'll be genuinely honest, watching that game, nobody looked bothered. Nobody was trying to get the ball forward, driving. No, like I say, no urgency whatsoever. A few players looking lethargic, lazy. Some of them looked so relaxed. And I'm thinking, you're losing 2-0. And they were acting like they were winning. They were just so relaxed. Nobody was bothered. I tell you, the only person who looked bothered by the fact that we were losing, there was only one, in my opinion. Maybe two. That was Norton, which is ridiculous considering he's pretty much the youngest player on the pitch when he came on. It shouldn't be him who cares about it the most, really, should it? No. Should be one of the senior players. And Fletcher, although he ended up getting two into it and he got himself booked, but that really worried me. And it made me think, like, if you looked at how we performed in the first half, it was really poor. And you think, half-time, this is what managers are in for. This is what one of the main things they're paid to do. You either make changes or you talk to them players and you make them play better for that second half. And if anything, in the second half, we were even worse. And it made me think, and then players just straight up just deciding to disrespect O'Neill today? Or is O'Neill not doing his job properly? Because that is ridiculous. It was even worse in the second half.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the players being disengaged with the manager or the manager just not preparing the players properly at half-time. I don't know. But we'll get into more detail on individual performances as we move to the player ratings, and I'll let Ethan go through his first.
So, Davies in goal. He had a poor game. He struggled. That's the right word to put it. He struggled against Birmingham on Saturday. So I think he should have saved the McGree shot that led to the second. I'm going to give him a 4. Smith, right wing back. Well, he couldn't beat the big massive Donny, who scored twice to the cross for the opener. What you can't expect him though, can you? To head it against that massive twat.
No.
He's honestly massive. So I feel a bit unlucky. I feel sorry for him because people are blaming it on Smith for some reason. I don't get why.
No,
but I'll give him. I'll be nice. I'll give him a 5. He didn't provide any quality this game going forward.
Wow, really?
I don't think as well.
Do you think that?
I
mean, fair enough if you do, but I've got
you have a better insight.
Okay,
than
yeah,
me,
yeah.
Okay. I have no idea.
Yeah,
because I didn't watch the game.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So I'll give him a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Norris and Davies, aggressive in attacking down the left, like he normally is. But I think on the what's it called? The first goal, he should have stopped tried to put pressure on the cross.
Definitely.
No one, not just Norris and Davies, everyone, except for the keeper, obviously, but no one pressed him. It was just a free cross, easy cross.
Yeah.
To be honest. So I'll give him a 5, Norris and Davies. Chester caught a bit flat-footed at times, and could have organised the wall, like the what's it called, the defensive line. Well, he can't head the ball, can he, against Djukovic, whatever his name is?
No.
But he maybe could have sorted out the defensive line. Who knows? I'll give him a 5. McCall tried to work the ball around, and I think he should have done better when he broke it into the box in the first half.
Aren't you doing Sitter and Bat?
Oh yeah, that's a stinker from me. I'll go back to them.
All right.
So I'll just go straight to it. I'll give Mikel a 6.
Yeah.
Suter, he had to sweep up a couple of times. Well, his aerial threats, just everything. But maybe he could have. I won't blame on Suter for him defending the first one because he's the middle centre back, and he was on the right hand side. So I'm blaming that more on Bat in my eyes. I think he was bought like. I'll give Suter a 6 though. I think.
Okay. Yeah.
People are saying Bat looks comfortable on the right hand side. Is he fuck? That's all I can say. He should be marking tightly for the first goal.
Yeah.
It's just.
You just wait until I get into Bat on mine. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. I want to hear it, mate. That's why I'm trying to get it on quicker. I'll give Bat a 4. Shit. Thompson. I think Thompson is improving as the season goes on, but in this game, he was average at best. Again, he was what's the word? He was pretty tenacious, I'd say. And he had a couple of decent balls into the final third here and there, but nothing too threatening for the Birmingham defence. So I'll give him a 6. Powell. Is there anyone else I've missed?
No.
Sure.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Powell couldn't do enough to affect the game. I think he wasn't sharp enough. So I'll give him a 5. Brown, I think Brown is a player who presses a lot, but he doesn't get he presses at the wrong time, I think, for me. But he had a good ball apparently in the Fletcher's offside goal. Was it offside? Do you know?
At first, I was a bit I wasn't sure. Now, looking back on it, I think me and Twig both said he didn't look offside.
Oh, okay.
So
that could have changed the game then. Won't think it though. Won't think it because it was a poor performance.
Exactly.
So
that's why I'm not going to mention. That's why I've not mentioned it, because even though I don't think it was, it's still shocking.
Yeah. Brown, I'll give him a 5. Fletcher, flagged for offside for Stoke's 2 best chances for the 68 minutes that he's on for.
Yeah.
And apparently that's cost him 3 goals since New Year.
Yeah.
As well. So that's mad. So he's had 3 disallowed goals. That's crazy since New Year. But he got a yellow card, so you can't really rate him over 6, 7. So I'll give him a 5. Because he did have our best chances, so that's fair enough. Vokes for Smith. Control, his control is shit, isn't it? He can't control the ball, folks. He's all over the place. But he was okay. He could hold the ball up, and offered a second person for Norton when he came on. So I'll give him a 5 because Vokes, as we know, he is. We don't want Vokes in the team. We don't want him in the squad.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him a 5. Norton, probably the best player, hands down. gave Stoke a first shot on target, which is so... It's frustrating. How are we having a shot after 68 minutes? I don't know when the shot on target was, but he came on 68 minutes, so it was definitely after 68 minutes. And it's shocking from us, like as a team, as a point of view, and not taking a shot on target in the whole game.
For me,
until he came on, that's shocking.
I think everybody had a lack of motivation except for him. To be honest,
he gave a lively cameo, and this is why we should be starting him.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, so you've got Sam Clucas. That's the last one.
Yeah, Clucas. He offered a bit more attacking intent as he tried to support the forwards, but 27 minutes plus added time?
Yeah.
Not too much time to give him, so you can't really fault him. So I'll give him a 6. I'll be nice. He has been injured for most of the season, so I know we keep using that excuse for him, but he's only played 2-3 games recently.
He's barely played, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough then. So I'll get into mine then. Starting off with Davies, very frustrated because he had butterfingers against Millwall, where he keeps letting the ball slip out. And me and Twig did talk about that quite a lot, but he got away with it in the sense that he didn't directly lead to a goal. He did against Birmingham. He did it again. It's not good enough. Should comfortably stay in your hands. And just when you think, oh yeah, we've definitely got our number one now. We know who the number one is. He messes up. And then you start doubting yourself and you think, well, would Angus Gunn have done that? If you don't think he would have done that, who is the number one then? Why can't we just have an easy number one? I want a good backup and stuff, but you should be able to confidently know who your number one is. Which is a bit frustrating because it's not good for the team really to be swapping and changing keepers.
Because it just show like the what's it called, the motivation for the defence. Well.
They need that. They need to have that similar figure behind them to defend.
And the play style of the keeper as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to keep switching.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Davies, for me, Luke didn't do anything, and then the one thing he did do cost a goal. So for that, 2. Simple as that. Going on to Smith, thought he had an overall a bright game. Plenty of good crosses into the box. He's starting to look like what he did at his best when he was at Huddersfield. Just the balls he's supplying into the box. Some really good balls into the box, I thought, against Birmingham. Positive game. Therefore deserves a positive rating. That's why I'm giving him a 7. Norton Davies on the left, poor overall. Giving away rash fouls, rash challenges. Needs to sort out his temperament. Because he is a bit rash with his challenging at times, especially when he gets frustrated. And some of his crossing usually is spot on, but against Birmingham it was off. So I'm going to have to give him a 5. Yeah. Chester, he was all right. But I don't know, I'm not happy with the 3 of them. For that. Because we talk about the first goal, who's marking Djukovic when he scores.
Yeah.
And not just that, right? Regardless of who's meant to be marking him, where's the communication? Because, right, let's say Danny Batt is meant to mark him, right? If Danny Batt or if Suter and Chester are communicating to Danny Bat, they would know, or if they were looking all around in the box like they should be, they would know that, Danny Bat isn't on his man. Let's quickly rush one of us over to get on there, since he's not doing it properly. You should know what's going on around you. Exactly. You should know what's going on around you. If you don't know what's going on around you, that's still an issue. So for me, I can't give him much because he's still conceded 2 against a poor side. So I'll give him a 4. Suter, he's got a good aerial presence. He's not using it though. It's like against Millwall. He was nowhere. He was nowhere to be seen. Not clearing anything away properly, not marking, not staying on his man properly, not getting in the way of shots properly. Really, really, really disappointed in Suter over the last couple of games. And for me, 3, not good enough. Danny Bat. Danny Bat, I mean, you got the first goal. He should be marking his man. That is annoying, don't get me wrong. But I wouldn't have been as annoyed. It was what I saw after that. The performance he put in for Birmingham was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I think after watching that, I mean, I've seen performances from him before which were bad. This is the worst performance I've ever seen in my life from Danny Bat. I think it is a disgrace and it makes a mockery of our football club that he is even a part of this squad. I can't believe he gets rewarded for playing like such a terrible player. I would not trust him in a League 2 team. And I'll tell you why, because it's like some of the things he does on the ball, I've seen it in Sunday League. Because he gets the ball, he's scared. He's scared of having the ball at his age. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I saw him give away the ball probably 10 plus times to an attacker. He gave away the ball time and time again. And when he isn't giving away the ball, he's just whacking it up to nobody, giving it away. Or he's just whacking it up and it's not going anywhere. He's pathetic. He's a pathetic player. He's annoyed me that much that I already made the decision. Which we'll be making sure I do that by the end of this weekend. I was meant to do it yesterday, but I forgot. I'm going to unfollow him on all social media because I do not regard him as a Stoke City player. He is a disgrace to my football club. A disgrace. I said this to Twig, and Twig can back me up on this. He knows this. You could ask him, he'd tell you. I said, and I still think this now, that's why I'm going to say it, he's the worst ever, he's the worst defender Stoke City have ever had since I've been born. Worst defender Stoke have ever had since I've been watching Stoke, ever. I would rather have all the defenders we had before. Even Kevin Wimmer is 10 times better than Bat. And he's dreadful. He is the worst defender we've ever had. For how bad he is on the pitch, I hate Danny Bat as a player. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I hate you as a player. I absolutely hate you because you ruin everything. You ruin everything. And the fact that O'Neill plays you, if it was any other manager, that is a sackable offence on its own. It's an absolute disgrace. You don't deserve to be anywhere near any of the AFL leagues. Get out of our club. Get out of our club.
We got the title.
0. You could... Oh, okay. I'll give him a 1 because he can tie his shoelaces properly. Get out. 0. 0. Not good enough. He's the only player...
I feel generous now.
He's the only player who makes me rage and reminds... He's the only player that makes me rage and it makes me think of DT when I'm raging about him on AFTV.
Oh, God.
Because he just gets me that aggravated. Right, moving on. moving on, because you know what? I'm not going to talk about him anymore because he doesn't deserve the time. Right, I'm moving on, honestly. I could go on. Right, John Obi McCall. What can I say? He was wearing the captain's armband. You aren't a captain. You were a captain when you were at Chelsea, because when you were at Chelsea, you had passion and desire. What do you have at Stoke? You just want to have a kickabout. Now, I respect that because I understand you're not far off retiring. But when I watch him play, he is playing, and Twig agree with me actually on this, he's playing like somebody that just wants to enjoy the game before he hangs his boots up. Now that I can understand, but that is not what we need. Because it doesn't help in games like that. But Luke, he wasn't driving. He wasn't energetic. He didn't look bothered that we were struggling, and he wasn't effective. So for that, I'd have to give him a 4. Thompson, Luke, poor-ish, maybe average. Look, what a waste of a signing. I don't think, there's a lot of players where they have some average performances, but overall, whether they're good or they're just bad. I don't think I've ever seen such a bang average Stoke player ever. You can't even make your mind up on him because he's so average all the time. But average isn't good enough if we want to be pushing forward. And for me, he was quiet, didn't do much, wasn't effective, wasn't driven, wasn't motivated like most of the other players. I'd say he was slightly worse than John Obi McCall. Give him a 3. Powell, I said this to Twig. I've never shouted at him whilst watching him as much as I did against Birmingham. I don't know what has happened, but I noticed it against Millwall, and it's happened again today. Well, not today. It's happened again against Birmingham this weekend, but even worse than the Millwall one. He just so lazy, right? He doesn't look motivated. And when he gets the ball, he gave away the ball so many times against Birmingham. It was ridiculous. It's like he'd get the ball and he'd be so relaxed on the ball, he'd give it away. Because he was too relaxed. Almost like he's not concentrated enough when he's on the ball. And for me, just terrible, absolutely awful. Gave away the ball plenty of times, looked lazy, looked lethargic, no energy whatsoever. It's not good enough, and for that, player of his standards ain't good enough too. Brown, look, it was his birthday against Birmingham, and I perfectly, said it to Twig right at the time, and I'll say it again. Hope you had a great birthday. Happy birthday to you for then. But I hope your presents that you got were good. And I hope you can take yourself and those presents to a different club. Because for me, just nothing. There's just nothing going on with him. He was poor. I mean, he can't even try and put in a good shift on his birthday. I mean, you would have thought you'd want a good performance for yourself on your own birthday, and he was just rubbish. Poor, bang average. He scored an okay goal against Derby, right, if you remember that. And he was shushed, and so many people came out and went, oh, Brown, you deserve this so much. I've been backing you all the way. Blah, 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 blah. Always knew you had it in him. Luke, he's not good. There's a reason why he was playing for a Barnsley side that would have got relegated if Wigan didn't get the point deduction at the end like they did. There's a reason. There's a reason for that. Because guess what? He is worthy of playing for a relegation side. Not good enough. 3. Fletcher, not good enough. Not good enough against Birmingham. But better than Brown and so on. But looked okay in front of goal, but look, he ended up losing it. He started getting frustrated. And the yellow card, he snaps the guy in half. Ridiculous challenge. Ridiculous. He knew he was going to get boot for that. So why do it? A player of your age should not be retaliating like that. And for that, and then he lost it after that, and he was just crap. That's why he got subbed off way earlier than he usually would. So then going on to the subs, we'll start with Sam Vokes. Luke didn't get the ball, did he? Didn't really get supplied with anything. Why did he not get supplied? Not because he's the issue of this game, because all the other players around him couldn't be asked to do anything, because none of them have got no motivation or desire whatsoever. So for that, unfortunately, Vokes, you didn't get an opportunity to show anything. Therefore, I can only give you a 5. Then looking at Christian Norton. Now, I felt so sorry for him in the sense that great that he got some minutes. He was playing with 10 other players that could not give a crap against Birmingham at that point. At that point, the players had stopped trying. And he was the only one. He was trying to do it on his own at times. He'd get the ball and he wouldn't want to give it to anybody because he knew what was going to happen. And he was trying to do it on his own. The most energetic player, the most motivated, the most player with the most desire. For that, I respect that. So I'll give him a 6. I can't really give him much more than that because of the amount of time he played. Otherwise, I'd give him higher probably. And then finally, Clucas. Didn't do anything. Didn't do anything like the rest of the players didn't. So what's there to say? Didn't play many minutes. Was just as ineffective as everybody else. 5. And they're the player ratings from both of us then for that game. Probably the worst ever set of player ratings I've ever done. And everybody got really low ratings, and that is exactly what they all deserved. So, moving on then, even though it's hard for me to move on, because I've just gone back through all the emotions that I felt whilst watching Birmingham, so this is going to be an interesting preview now. But, Stoke, Saturday, they're at home, and they face Preston. So we're just going to quickly look at the last 4 games for both sides coming into this one, just to give us an idea. Starting off with Stoke, since they are the home team for this one. So Stoke got that 1-0 win against Derby. Gosh, how long ago that feels now. Just before the international break. Then they faced Bristol away. Got a 2-0 win. Wow, who remembers that Stoke side? Then after that, Stoke were at home against Millwall and suffered a 2-1 defeat. Stoke then went away to Birmingham and suffered another defeat, with it being a 2-0 loss. So from Stoke's last 4 games, 2 wins and 2 losses. Half losses, half wins. What you'd rather want really is majority, at least like half wins and then more draws than losses, but it was just half wins. It could have been worse, but they're Stoke's last 4. Moving on to Preston then. They, just before the international break, they were at home against Luton, Nathan Jones, Luton Town. Luton were victorious with a 1-0 win over that Preston side. Then after that, Preston took on Norwich City at home and managed to grab a 1-1 draw from that one. After that, Preston gaining some motivation from that very good, very impressive draw against Norwich. They went away to Swansea and they claimed all 3 points as they got a massive 1-0 win against the Swans. After that, you would think, building up some momentum, their best chance to get a really positive result against Brentford, while it went exactly the opposite, and they were at home and they suffered a 5-0 thrashing from Brentford. Overall, out of Preston's last 4 games, Preston have got 2 losses, a win and a draw. Essentially, I think Stokes is better. Yeah, it is. It is slightly better. But, interesting. So looking at that, you would say Preston started actually to gain a little bit of momentum with 2 good results against Norwich and Swansea. But then they blew it, didn't they, with a 5-0 thrashing in their last game against Brentford. So, could that be advantage for Stoke? Because Stoke have had their confidence knocked, but Preston have just had a 5-0 hammering. We'll see. But that just puts a bit of perspective going into this game. So now we're going to move on to our preferred lineups for this fixture. And I'm going to go to Ethan first on what his starting XI would be for this one.
Right, so in goal, I'm going to go with Gunn because last 2 games for Davies, he's been shaky. So I think Gunn should have a go. And that's all I can say with the goalkeeper situation. Then I'm going to go for 4-3-3, like usual. So I'm going to go with Suter and Chester at centre-backs. Then right-back Smith, Norton and Davies at left-back. Then I'll go with Clucas, Johnny McKell and Powell. Then right wing, I think we should give Norton Davies, fucking hell. Norton a go at right wing. Then Fletcher up front and left wing. I don't even know.
McLean's still out, I think.
Yeah, no, he's injured for the rest of the season.
Yeah. So who you put in?
Let's just say Jacob Brown on the right and Norton on the left.
Yeah. All right, then. My preferred lineup then for this one. Now, I don't want to go completely overboard on this idea, but I think Stoke should be looking to experiment in part, since that there's nothing for us to play for now. And that's exactly why in goal for this game, I want Blondie to start. In goal, I'm going with a 4-3-3. So Blondie in goal. I think he deserves his chance now in a league match, especially now that Bursik's out on emergency loan for the rest of this season. My back four would be left back Norton Davies, right back Tommy Smith, 2 centre backs of Suter and Chester, midfield 3 of John Obi Mikel, Sam Clucas, and Nick Powell. Though I will say, if Nick Powell has a poor performance this game, I will be dropping him. So this is his last chance if I was manager.
Okay.
Otherwise he'd be getting dropped. But my front 3 would be Fletcher up top, down the middle. On the left, Norton, and on the right, Jacob Brown. Now, usually I would have gone with Norton on the right and McLean on the left, but McLean, unfortunately, as Ethan said, is out for the rest of the season. So lucky Brown gets to start due to an injury on the right-hand side, and then have Norton on the left. I think you can tell what my impressions are of Jacob Brown, but that's we'll leave that there. So then we go to the debate question, the final section of today's Stoke City pod. And I thought with it being a Stoke podcast, we'd have it at least for at least this one, we'd have it linked with Stoke. So I thought, okay, we'll do it Championship themed. And we did this for the Premier League and the Premier League show, so I thought, why not for the Championship? And that is, who, in your opinion, is the best manager in the Championship? So I'm going to start, I'm going to go to Ethan on this one, on who he thinks is the best manager in the Championship right now, and why.
To be fair, there is good managers managers in our league, to be fair. But I think in his tenure right now, he's been really, really consistent for this team, and I'm going to have to go for Thomas Frank.
Okay.
For Brentford. And I didn't go for anyone like Norwich or anything, because they go up, they go down they go up to the Premier League, come down into the Championship. So, my reasons are for Thomas Frank for being the best manager at this current time is, one is preferred formation is 4-3-3. And he plays that regularly, so it's an attacking, exciting formation played every week. He's brought in some quality players, and Ivan Toney, for example, and last year's team as well. He had the likes of Ben Rama and Ollie Watkins, who've moved on to good quality Premier League clubs. Also, he's got a win percentage of 70% in the Championship right now in his recent 10 games, which is decent. That's really good for a Championship side. And they're always in the playoffs right now. Around the playoffs, automatics, wherever. They're always around that area. But something just doesn't spark when it comes to the actual playoff final, semi-final playoffs and all that. But this year, they could have a good chance. So that's my reason why Thomas Frank is the best manager right now.
No, yeah, fair enough. Now, I did look at managers of sort of his sort of calibre, but the reason I didn't go with him in the end is that Brentford have ended up bottling automatics, and they've had a couple of. I know they've just beat Preston, given Preston a hammering, but they've had a couple of iffy results of recent, and this has been a common issue with Brentford each season. All strong throughout, and then they go shaky, and then they take that shakiness, if you could say that, into the playoffs, and they bottle it. And they're just looking like they're going a bit shaky again. And that's something that he should have tried to resolve. They bottled automatics, and I can see him bottling the playoffs. And if I think they're going to bottle the playoffs, I can't really give that to him. If I think that in my head.
Fair enough.
Now for me, you've sort of dissed my picking with what you said at the beginning, because I've gone with Daniel Farke, manager of Norwich. Now I've gone with that.
That's fair enough.
I've gone with that because Norwich are sitting 8 points at the top of the table on 90 points. And one of the main reasons I've gone with that, for me, you don't need stats to explain why he's so good with Norwich. If you look at just sit down and watch Norwich, it'll be a pleasure for you, because the football they're playing right now is Premier League quality, and you can tell that they're too good for this league.
To be fair.
And as well, they've served out probably I think it is the biggest thrashing of the season, with that 7-0 victory over Huddersfield.
Huddersfield, yeah.
And that is unbelievable. I think it was 5-0 at half time. I mean, that's just unbelievable, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
You can't fault him though, can you? Because he's brought in some quality, like Buendia.
Exactly. Yeah. Good investments, and I think I just think that's probably the biggest win of the season as well. I'm pretty sure it is, just considering that they didn't concede either. They got a clean sheet in that game. So even when they were battering Huddersfield. They didn't get complacent with it either, which shows that he's instilled that concentration. When you watch him play, constantly going for goals, even when they put a game to bed, going for more and more goals, playing really entertaining football. And part of the reason I actually picked Daniel Farke is because he got relegated from the Prem, and we know how much that can affect a team when they go up and they come straight back down. And Norwich don't look affected at all by the relegation, and it's pretty much nearly the same players that got relegated that are taking them straight back to the top of the Championship, and that takes a lot of character because you've got to remember like the effect that can have on the players mentally, getting relegated, finishing like bottom of the league, to be able to just be top right now, cruising, looking like they're easily going to win the league. That shows great character, and I think that great character could have a lot to do with Daniel Farke instilling that in them. That we did get relegated, but we are still gonna be a winning club this season. We're still gonna go out there and try and get that title and get it, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. Looks like they're gonna win the league. They're starting to create more and more of a gap at the top, and let's not forget they've got an 8-point gap. Look at the team, Watford. What a quality side they've got. They've kept so many of the players that they had in the Prem, and they're building a gap between themselves and a team like Watford, which is really impressive in my book. I think, to be honest, they could have actually stayed up in the Prem. It was a lack of investment, really, that I think was the issue for them. It wasn't really the managerial tactics. It was the lack of investment on Norwich's part. Yeah, when they went to the Prem, because they spent something ridiculous, like under 20 million they spent, which is just, not enough. So for me, as long as they invest a little bit more this time round, there's no reason under that management that they can't stay up. But yeah, I thought I'd give it to Daniel Farke because there's other managers where you look and you go, oh yeah, but they've all had moments where they've started slipping up. It's like Cooper, manager of Swansea. You look at him and there's times where you think, brilliant management. But then they've had too many ups and downs, bottled automatics a little bit, like Brentford did a little bit. And there's been a lot of managers where they've looked good, but they've had a few slip-ups, and he's the only one where he's been consistently good all season. And I think I think in my opinion that has to be rewarded. So I'm going to give it to Daniel Farke.
How many points are they on, Norwich?
90.
Is it? Well, they can get 100 points by the end of the season then, can't they?
Yeah.
So that's a big achievement as well, and that's probably what he's going for.
Exactly. And
that's massive.
Exactly, and I actually think what we should do at the end of the season, the Championship, just going off this, I think we should do one for the Prem and one for the Championship. We should come up together and we'll go through all the managers and we'll do, as part of a video, best player of the season award for the Championship from both of us, a joint decision.
Okay.
We'll do that for the Championship, do best player for Prem, and then best manager as well for both.
Yeah, okay.
I think. And you know what? If he gets 100 points, he could definitely be there.
Yeah.
So I'll give it to him. I can understand yours though, especially if Brentford win the playoffs, then, he's a massive contender at that point because he's done something that Brentford haven't been able to do of recent. So, but that is everything for today's pod. So, as I always say, we hope you enjoyed listening to it because we certainly enjoyed making it. If you did enjoy listening to it, then please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, turn on that notification bell because just so that you get notified for all the uploads, because you might not know when we upload. Sometimes upload schedules can change. So, if you do enjoy the uploads, then please do put the bell on as well. If you've got any thoughts, comments, ideas, suggestions, opinions, maybe your opinions on the topics that we spoke about today, or improvements that you'd like to see, or anything, thought suggestions, then just put it in the comment section below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening. I'm going to pass it to Ethan just in case there's anything he wants to add.
I mean, I was going to say, what's the next video that we're doing?
Next video, well, since we've just done Stoke, I think the next one, I'm pretty sure will be Europa and Champions League, I think, with them being midweek.
Or, wait, do you know the Preston game? When's that? Is it Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay.
So that will be later.
So it'll be Champions League, Europa League, so some exciting matches up, with obviously seeing if Liverpool can gain a comeback at Anfield against Real Madrid, and we're seeing Man City take on Dortmund again, Chelsea and Porto, PSG and Bayern.
Yeah.
All the Europa League games, so stay tuned for that content coming up. Subscribe to the channel. It's free, obviously, like I always say. If you aren't subscribed, you may as well. Like, come on. And if you did enjoy the video, just give us a like and comment down below, like anything.
Yeah.
Because like any like suggestions, improvements, like I said about last video.
Yeah.
On the Premier League show, and yeah, hope you enjoyed, and that's all from me.
All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
In a bit.